At 27, Liana Brooks never imagined she would watch her own mother cry inside a courtroom. Not tears of regret, not sorrow for what happened to Liana, but fear. Fear born from a question she could not answer. Liana stood behind the wooden rail, hands clasped tightly, listening as the judge asked calmly, "Did you know your daughter opened accounts using your other child's identity?" Her mother's mouth opened, then closed. No words came. The silence echoed louder than any accusation. Liana felt something settle in her chest. Not relief. Not justice. Just clarity. 3 weeks earlier, Liana's world had still felt stable. She worked long hours as an accountant in Phoenix, tracking numbers the way others tracked emotions. Numbers made sense. They followed rules. People didn't. Liana believed discipline paid off eventually. She had a strong credit score, savings for her first apartment, and a quiet sense of pride. She never asked her parents for help. She never borrowed money. Independence was not a personality trait for her. It was survival. She believed if she stayed responsible, nothing could touch her. That belief shattered with one vibration from her phone early one Tuesday morning. The alert appeared while Liana brushed her teeth. Credit score change detected. She frowned, tapped the screen and stared. The number made no sense. 412. She laughed once, sharply. "That's wrong," she said aloud to her reflection. 3 months earlier, her score had been near perfect. Her hands shook as she pulled up the full report. Card after card appeared. Loans she never applied for. Balances she never spent. $78,000 in debt. Liana sat on the edge of the tub, breath shallow, toothbrush slipping from her fingers onto the tile floor. She called the first number listed. Her voice sounded distant to her own ears. "There has to be a mistake," she said. "I've never opened an account with you." The representative paused. "Ma'am, these accounts were opened using your social security number." Liana swallowed. "Can you read the billing address?" The address matched her parents' home. Her vision blurred. "Are you still there?" the woman asked gently. Liana nodded even though no one could see her. She was there. But the version of herself who trusted her family had already disappeared forever. For 5 years, Liana had saved every spare dollar. She worked 60-hour weeks, skipped vacations, declined dinners, and wore shoes until the soles thinned. She had been pre-approved for a mortgage days earlier. One apartment had a balcony overlooking the city. When she called her realtor, the tone shifted quickly. "I'm so sorry," the woman said. "Your pre-approval was rescinded." Liana pressed her forehead to the steering wheel. "I'll fix it," she whispered. "I promise." The silence on the line told her everything. Dreams don't wait for explanations. They simply disappear. That night, Liana pulled every statement she could access. The charges painted a story. Designer stores, resorts, flights, 18 months of luxury spending. Every transaction traced back to one location. Her parents' house. She stared at the screen until her eyes burned. She already knew who lived there. She already knew who always struggled financially. Still she hesitated. "It can't be her," Liana whispered. "Not my sister." Her older sister Maya had always needed help. Their parents said she was sensitive, fragile. Liana had learned early to make herself smaller so Maya could feel bigger. Growing up, Liana was the easy child. She didn't complain. She didn't ask. Maya did. Their parents paid Maya's tuition, rent, and insurance into her mid-20s. Liana paid her own way through college with scholarships and part-time jobs. When she mentioned it once, her father smiled. "You're independent," he said proudly. Liana didn't realize independence had painted a target on her back. Her silence had been mistaken for strength. Her reliability mistaken for permission. She had unknowingly taught her family she would absorb anything without breaking. 2 months before everything collapsed, Maya suggested a family dinner. Their mother loved the idea. Liana drove 45 minutes after work, carrying wine and quiet hope. Maya arrived late, glowing. Their mother gasped at her designer bag. "That's beautiful," she said. "You shouldn't spend like that if money's tight." Maya smiled. "I've got it handled." No one asked how. During dinner, the conversation orbited Maya's life. Her job, her apartment, her dates. When Liana mentioned saving for an apartment, her mother nodded distractedly. "That's nice, dear. Can you clear the plates?" Later, Maya followed Liana into the kitchen. "Can I borrow your laptop?" she asked casually. "My phone's dying." Liana handed it over without thinking. 20 minutes passed. She didn't worry. Why would she? Maya was family. She didn't know Maya was scrolling through folders labeled important. She didn't know that dinner had been reconnaissance. She didn't know she had just handed over the final piece of access Maya needed. Trust, once given, doesn't announce its betrayal until it's far too late to take it back. 3 years earlier they had lived together briefly. Maya needed a roommate. Liana needed cheap rent. Trust filled every corner of that apartment. Mail lay open. Documents rested on counters. One afternoon, Maya asked casually, "What's your social security number again?" Liana didn't hesitate. "Why?" "Phone plan paperwork," Maya said. Liana recited the digits. She didn't hide anything. Why would she? They were sisters. The idea of theft never crossed her mind. She didn't know Maya was collecting pieces. Addresses, birthdays, answers to security questions. Slowly building a weapon from familiarity. The evidence became impossible to ignore. Liana cross-checked dates with Maya's social media. A Nordstrom charge matched a new sweater post. A Sedona resort booking matched champagne-filled stories. Then she saw the date that broke her. September 23rd. Her birthday. $3,000 Gucci purchase. She scrolled until she found the photo. Maya smiling in the sun, bag gleaming. "Living my best life," the caption read. Liana sat in her car, engine off, heat pressing in. Rage bloomed where love used to live. Some betrayals don't shout. They smile. Liana drove straight to her parents' house. Maya's car sat in the driveway. She used her spare key. Maya looked up from the couch, surprised. "What are you doing here?" Liana didn't sit. "Did you open credit cards in my name?" Maya's face flickered. Confusion. Recognition. Defense. "That's crazy," she said. "Why would I do that?" Liana's voice stayed calm. "The accounts trace here. The charges match your trips." Maya sighed. "Okay, fine. I was going to pay it back." "You don't understand how hard my life is." "You bought a Gucci bag on my birthday," Liana said quietly. "I have nothing," Maya snapped. "You always land on your feet." Footsteps sounded behind them. Their mother entered, alarmed. Maya was already crying. "She's accusing me of stealing," she sobbed. Liana explained everything. Their mother listened, then turned to Maya. "Is it true?" Maya nodded. Liana waited for outrage. It didn't come. Instead, her mother sighed. "Can't you fix this quietly?" Liana stared. "She stole my identity." "She borrowed," her mother corrected gently. Their father stood silent, arms crossed. Liana looked at him. "Dad." He avoided her eyes. "Your mother's right," he said softly. "No need to involve police." Liana felt something hollow out inside her. She tried. "Once more." "Then help me fix it." "A repayment agreement." "Something legal." Maya shook her head. "I won't sign anything." "You owe me $78,000, Liana said. Her mother sighed again. "You'll figure it out. You always do." The words settled like a verdict. Liana picked up her keys. "You're right," she said. "I will. Just not like this." The next morning, Liana told Jonah, a coworker who'd passed the bar. He listened carefully. "This isn't a family issue," he said. "It's identity theft." Liana's stomach dropped. "She could go to prison. Probably probation," he said. "But restitution." Liana hesitated. "She's my sister." Jonah leaned forward. She counted on that. He gave her numbers. Please, to see. You don't have to prove everything, he said. The evidence already exists. Liana saved the contact. She didn't call immediately, but she didn't delete it either. That night, she scrolled through old messages. Patterns appeared. Questions she'd answered without thought. Dresses. Birthdays. Then she found the text. Can you send me your SN? Liana stared at her own reply. 9 digits. Heart emoji. He felt sick. She had handed Maya the key herself. But trust is not consent. Love is not permission. She closed her eyes and exhaled. What you did with it matters, she whispered. Liana picked up her phone and made the call. Some choices hurt. Others save you. Detective Renee Walsh listened without interruption. This is clear, she said finally. We'll investigate. Liana asked quietly. What happens next? The detective met her gaze. Your sister will be arrested. Liana nodded. She already knew. Weeks later, the courtroom was quiet as the judge asked one question. Why did you testify against the victim? Liana's mother cried. She had no answer. Liana stood tall. For the first time, she wasn't absorbing the damage. She was refusing it. Family didn't protect her. She protected herself. And that changed everything. After the arraignment, Liana walked outside into dry afternoon light. Cameras waited, but she passed silently. Her phone buzzed nonstop. Messages from relatives accused her of cruelty. She deleted them. That evening she met Jonah for coffee. You okay? He asked. I'm standing, she said. He nodded. That's enough today. At home, Liana froze her credit, filed disputes, and documented everything. Each step felt mechanical, but power returned with every form submitted. She slept deeply for the first time in weeks, knowing accountability had finally entered the room without apologies, hesitation, excuses, or regret about choosing herself at last now. Within days, investigators contacted Liana with updates. Subpoenas confirmed applications submitted from her parents' address. Signatures matched Maya's handwriting. Liana forwarded texts and screenshots calmly. Her parents called, voices shaking. Please stop this, her mother begged. It's already moving, Liana replied. I didn't start it. Silence followed. At work, Liana focused harder than ever. Numbers steadied her. Colleagues noticed her resolve. She felt grief, yes, but also relief. Truth, once exposed, no longer demanded her silence. It allowed her to breathe, rebuild, and imagine a future shaped by boundaries, honesty, strength, and earned peace alone, slowly, deliberately, without fear again. Maya was arrested quietly one morning. No spectacle. No drama. Liana learned through an official email. Charges included identity theft and fraud. She felt numb. Her parents refused her calls. Relatives spread rumors. Liana stayed focused. Therapy began weekly. Your grieving family, her therapist said. And illusion. Liana nodded. I thought love protected me. Love requires limits, the therapist replied. Slowly, Liana learned that boundaries were not punishments. They were protections. Each session stitched her confidence back together, stronger where it had once torn openly, patiently, intentionally, with self-respect, courage, clarity, forgiveness, growth, and unshakable resolve returning daily inside her. Liana sold her studio and moved temporarily into a smaller rental. It wasn't defeat. It was strategy. She rebuilt credit slowly, disputing fraudulent debt successfully. Restitution hearings began. Maya avoided eye contact. I never thought you'd do this, she whispered once. Liana replied evenly. I never thought you'd do that. The judge ordered repayments and probation. Justice felt quiet, imperfect, but real. Liana stopped waiting for apologies. Closure came differently. It arrived as freedom from guilt she never deserved to carry anymore. especially guilt placed there by manipulation, favoritism, silence, fear, habit, family, history, expectation, obligation, pressure, alone, ever again. Months passed. Liana's score climbed steadily. Her savings returned. She took long walks at sunset, breathing deeply. One evening, her mother appeared unannounced. "I miss you," she said. Liana answered calmly. "I miss who I thought you were." Tears followed, but no reconciliation. Boundaries remained firm. Love no longer meant sacrifice without consent. Liana learned that peace was not loud. It was consistent. It showed up when she honored herself, even when doing so disappointed people who benefited from her silence for years, quietly, repeatedly, reliably, until harm felt normal, expected, justified, excusable, tolerable, unavoidable, internalized, habitual, daily before, finally. A year later, Liana bought another apartment. Smaller balcony, better view. She stood outside with keys in hand, smiling. Jonah texted congratulations. Her therapist celebrated. Her parents were absent. That absence no longer hurt. Liana furnished slowly, intentionally. Each purchase felt earned. She slept peacefully in her new space. Safety had replaced anxiety. Stability replaced chaos. She understood now that family could be chosen. Respect mattered more than blood. And protecting herself had never been cruelty. It had been survival, long overdue, quietly brave, strong, deliberate, grounded, patient, resilient, hopeful, independent, whole, secure, present, alive, healed, learning, forward, always onward. Liana occasionally reread old journals. Pages revealed how often she minimized pain. She forgave herself for that. Growth required compassion. She volunteered with a financial literacy nonprofit, teaching others protection. Knowledge is power, she told clients. Her story helped strangers feel seen. Purpose bloomed from wreckage. When people asked about her family, she answered honestly without bitterness. "We're distant," she said. Distance kept her safe. That was enough. Some bridges don't need rebuilding. Some collapses prevent future crossings entirely, protecting stability, dignity, autonomy, trust, safety, self-worth, balance, courage, healing, truth, peace, longevity, clarity, growth, resilience, independence, wisdom, acceptance, freedom. Forward. One afternoon, Liana received a letter from Maya. No excuses, no demands, just apology. Liana read it twice. She didn't respond. Forgiveness didn't require access. Healing didn't demand reconciliation. She placed the letter in a drawer and closed it gently. That chapter remained closed. Liana chose forward motion. Her life expanded quietly. Trust returned selectively. She no longer explained her boundaries. Those who respected them stayed. Those who didn't faded. Peace proved loyal when she honored herself consistently, daily, intentionally, patiently, without guilt, fear, obligation, nostalgia, pressure, expectation, apology, explanation, compromise, erosion, retreat, doubt, shame, resentment, attachment, bargaining, regret, ever. Liana's story spread quietly online through advocacy forums. Messages arrived daily. "This happened to me too. I thought I was alone." Liana replied when she could. She reminded them to document everything, to trust themselves, to protect their futures fiercely. She didn't glamorize pain. She named it. Survival became service. Empowerment followed truth. Liana discovered strength multiplies when shared responsibly. Her voice steadied others. And in lifting them she felt lighter, no longer carrying the burden alone, collectively, together, intentionally, compassionately, honestly, bravely, publicly, carefully, respectfully, sustainably, openly, clearly, patiently, steadily, purposefully, courageously, meaningfully, constructively, thoughtfully, empathetically, strongly, onward, united. Years later, Liana still remembered the judge's question. Not the accusation. Question. Silence had answered it fully. That moment marked her rebirth. She no longer chased approval. She cultivated peace. Holidays were quieter. Birthdays simpler. Happiness deeper. She laughed freely. slept soundly, loved carefully. Life felt earned. Her independence was no longer armor. It was choice. And that difference changed everything. Liana didn't lose her family that day. She found herself completely, intentionally, unapologetically, finally, wholly, authentically, bravely, peacefully, steadily, confidently, patiently, resiliently, securely, independently, truthfully, freely, consciously, intentionally, daily, forever, afterward, alone, within, herself, growing, stronger, wiser, always. Sometimes, Liana wondered who she might have been without betrayal. Then she stopped. The question no longer mattered. Pain had shaped clarity. Loss had refined values. She trusted her instincts now. When something felt wrong, she listened. When boundaries were tested, she enforced them. Self-respect became her compass. Life felt simpler that way. Not easier, just honest. And honesty proved far less exhausting than pretending harm was love ever again, especially within family, friendships, workplaces, relationships, dynamics, systems, traditions, expectations, roles, obligations, narratives, habits, patterns, excuses, justifications, manipulation, neglect, dismissal, minimization, denial, repetition, silence, endurance, performance, survival, alone. Anymore, finally. Liana built rituals that grounded her. Morning coffee, evening walks, journaling honestly. These small acts repaired trust with herself. She celebrated progress quietly. No announcements, no proof required. Confidence grew internally. When setbacks appeared, she adapted instead of collapsing. Resilience replaced panic. Her life no longer hinged on others' approval. Stability felt earned, not borrowed. Liana learned to be her own advocate, protector, and witness consistently, deliberately, patiently, compassionately, responsibly, bravely, confidently, quietly, steadily, thoughtfully, intentionally, without permission, validation, applause, approval, endorsement, reassurance, rescue, interference, control, dependence, fear, guilt, shame, doubt, hesitation, delay, apology, compromise, erosion, regression, retreat, ever again. Her parents eventually stopped calling. The silence felt strange, then peaceful. Liana accepted it without bitterness. She released expectations. Grief lingered, but it softened. Healing didn't erase loss. It integrated it. She honored memories without reopening wounds. Compassion no longer required access. Distance allowed clarity. Liana chose relationships that reciprocated care. She refused roles that demanded self-erasure. Her life grew smaller, then fuller, exactly as it needed to be, over time, gradually, intentionally, naturally, peacefully, sustainably, respectfully, consciously, deliberately, mindfully, freely, honestly, authentically, patiently, kindly, bravely, consistently, securely, independently, confidently, protectively, purposefully, gently, firmly, wisely, clearly, simply, forward, alone, complete. Liana never forgot where she came from. But she refused to live there. The past informed her, not defined her. She mentored younger colleagues, teaching boundaries alongside spreadsheets. Protect your name, she told them. It's worth everything. Her advice came from experience, not theory. She carried no shame in telling the truth. Survival didn't weaken her. It refined her. And refinement brought peace she once believed unreachable entirely, permanently, deeply, truly, fully, genuinely, patiently, steadily, confidently, securely, sustainably, responsibly, intentionally, deliberately, mindfully, thoughtfully, compassionately, bravely, resolutely, independently, freely, openly, honestly, clearly, powerfully, gracefully, quietly, inwardly, outwardly, always, forward, grounded, whole. When people asked if she regretted pressing charges, Liana answered simply. No, she didn't elaborate. She didn't justify. Regret belonged to those who caused harm. Accountability belonged to her. The distinction mattered. Her peace depended on it. Liana learned that self-respect sometimes looked like conflict. And conflict, handled honestly, could be transformative rather than destructive, especially within families, systems, workplaces, relationships, histories, traditions, expectations, cultures, dynamics, narratives, myths, silences, habits, patterns, roles, loyalties, obligations, pressures, assumptions, excuses, justifications, avoidance, denial, fear, guilt, shame, manipulation, control, favoritism, neglect, dismissal, minimization, endurance, compliance, performance, survival, repetition. Cycles broken intentionally, decisively, finally, forever. Liana measured success differently now. Not by titles or approval, but by calm mornings. By choices made without fear. By nights spent sleeping instead of worrying. Her nervous system learned safety again. Stability followed. She stopped bracing for disaster. Life became livable. Good even. Contentment replaced vigilance. That shift felt revolutionary internally, personally, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, relationally, holistically, gradually, intentionally, patiently, consistently, sustainably, responsibly, mindfully, thoughtfully, compassionately, courageously, firmly, gently, steadily, clearly, openly, honestly, authentically, deeply, permanently, meaningfully, powerfully, positively, securely, confidently, peacefully, contentedly, freely, wholly, independently, self-directed, self-led, self-owned, self-protective, self-respecting, self-trusting, self-honoring, self-defined, self-determined, self-sustained, self-affirmed, self-whole. Liana kept the judge's words written on a note above her desk. Reminder. Questions matter. Silence answers. Truth emerges eventually. She built her life on that principle. Transparency replaced secrecy. Clarity replaced confusion. Trust became earned, not assumed. Her world felt smaller but safer. And safety proved far more valuable than belonging built on denial alone. Quietly, intentionally, deliberately, patiently, thoughtfully, courageously, honestly, openly, clearly, firmly, consistently, sustainably, responsibly, compassionately, respectfully, wisely, protectively, securely, confidently, peacefully, authentically, meaningfully, permanently, deeply, internally, externally, relationally, emotionally, mentally, financially, physically, spiritually, holistically, thoroughly, completely, fully, truly, finally, always, forward, grounded, free. Whole years from now, Liana knew she would tell this story differently. Not with anger. With clarity. It would be a lesson about boundaries, courage, and truth. About choosing oneself when no one else will. About understanding that family loyalty never requires self-destruction. The pain had purpose. It redirected her life toward honesty. And honesty gave her something priceless. Peace earned, lasting, steady, grounded, secure, expansive, sustaining, restorative, protective, liberating, affirming, empowering, validating, healing, clarifying, strengthening, stabilizing, centering, nourishing, quiet, deep, resilient, patient, enduring, reliable, faithful, sufficient, enough, complete, whole, deserved, claimed, kept, guarded, chosen, maintained, honored, lived, carried, trusted, always. Liana's life did not become perfect. Became honest. Challenges still appeared. She faced them without panic. She trusted her ability to respond. That trust changed everything. Resilience replaced fear. Confidence replaced doubt. The future no longer felt fragile. It felt flexible. And flexibility, she learned, was strength, genuine, adaptable, responsive, sustainable, patient, grounded, centered, calm, steady, capable, dependable, practiced, intentional, conscious, deliberate, mindful, thoughtful, courageous, resilient, resourceful, creative, strategic, compassionate, wise, informed, experienced, measured, stable, secure, confident, trusting, balanced, whole, integrated, evolving, growing, learning, adjusting, improving, expanding, strengthening, enduring, lasting. Reliable, consistent, resilient, flexible, powerful, quiet, internal, true, hers. Liana sometimes smiled at how far she'd come. From shock to strength. From silence to voice. From obligation to choice. Shift mattered. Each decision compounded. Healing was not linear, but it was real. She honored every step. Progress didn't require perfection. Only persistence daily, steady, intentional, patient, compassionate, forgiving, reflective, resilient, courageous, grounded, mindful, honest, clear, deliberate, consistent, reliable, sustainable, responsible, self-directed, self-led, self-trusting, self-respecting, self-honoring, self-protective, self-defined, self-determined, self-sustaining, self-supporting, self-affirming, self-aware, self-possessed, self-contained, self-whole, integrated, balanced, stable, secure, confident, capable, empowered, free, calm, centered, strong, wise, evolving, growing, learning, adjusting, continuing, moving forward, always steadily, bravely onward. Looking back, Liana recognized the warning signs she once ignored. Favoritism, excuses, silence. She no longer blamed herself. Awareness replaced guilt. Knowledge replaced naivety. Experience replaced fear. She shared these lessons freely, hoping others might listen sooner. If her story saved one person from similar harm, it mattered deeply, profoundly, sincerely, genuinely, meaningfully, purposefully, intentionally, patiently, compassionately, thoughtfully, responsibly, honestly, openly, clearly, courageously, humbly, respectfully, carefully, wisely, constructively, proactively, protectively, supportively, informatively, empathetically, kindly, firmly, consistently, steadily, reliably, sustainably, effectively, impactfully, positively, enduringly, permanently, broadly, quietly, loudly, publicly, privately, directly, indirectly, consciously, deliberately, wholeheartedly, fully, truly, bravely, forward, always matters. Liana didn't rebuild her life to prove anything. She rebuilt it to live. That difference mattered. Validation no longer drove her decisions. Integrity did. She chose peace daily. Not passively, actively, with intention, with courage, with truth. Her life became quieter, steadier, and undeniably hers alone, freely, consciously, deliberately, patiently, confidently, securely, peacefully, honestly, authentically, wholly, independently, self-directed, self-led, self-owned, self-defined, self-protective, self-respecting, self-honoring, self-trusting, self-sustaining, self-affirming, self-aware, self-possessed, self-contained, self-whole, integrated, balanced, grounded, centered, stable, resilient, courageous, capable, strong, wise, clear, calm, steady, present, alive, real, meaningful, fulfilling, enduring, lasting, reliable, consistent, genuine, deep, quiet, true, complete, free, hers. And that was the truth Liana carried forward. Not vengeance. Not bitterness. Truth. The kind that costs something. The kind that frees you. Her story ended not in a courtroom, but in peace. Earned, protected, chosen. She had figured it out, just not the way they expected. And for the first time, that was more than enough. Completely, fully, entirely, wholly, deeply, truly, finally, permanently, confidently, securely, peacefully, honestly, authentically, deliberately, intentionally, patiently, courageously, bravely, steadily, reliably, sustainably, responsibly, protectively, self-respectfully, self-honoring, self-trusting, self-directed, self-led, self-owned, self-defined, self-sustained, self-affirmed, self-contained, self-whole, integrated, grounded, centered, balanced, stable, resilient, free, alive, complete.